In this session, we're going to be talking about families on mission. In the very first session, we talked about different kinds of TCKs. You can be a TCK when your parents are overseas for diplomatic reasons, for military reasons, for religious purposes, business purposes, or for educational purposes. And so families on mission is going to look a little bit different depending on what your family is doing overseas. But that being said, each of these families can have a mission. If your family doesn't already have its core values written out, now would be a great time to formulate those. Taking time to look into what are the core values of your family is very important. So if you haven't, talk to your spouse, talk to your kids, connect with God, and figure out what are your core values. Once you have your core values in place, you can create a family mission and vision. I'm not necessarily talking about your personal mission as much as your family mission and your family vision and your family core values. And so there will probably be some overlap, but it might be less than you think. And so as you go about building your family mission, vision, and core values, there's some certain things you need to do. The first thing would be simply separating yourself out from your family. You have your own personal mission and vision and core values, but that's not necessarily your family's mission and vision and core values. When you think about God, the Bible says that He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's a multi-generational God, and His vision and His mission and His plans are worked out over generations. And so the less we begin to think about us and our life, and the more we begin to think about partnering with God's multi-generational plans for our family line, the more eternal we can become, the more we can partner with God's will for our lives. So maybe it's time to sit down and begin to jot down the things that God's placed on your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents, your aunts and uncles, your cousins, your relatives. What's He been doing in your generation? Put all of these things together and see if you can come up with a plan that God has had through the generations for your family line and the things that He's placed on your heart and how they connect. Think about your children, what God's placed inside of them, the things that matter to them, the things that they're good at. Begin to put it all together and create a multi-generational family mission, complete with your family's core values and a vision for the future. Once you have your family's mission, vision, and core values in place, it becomes a filter and a compass. A compass in that it shows you which direction you know you want to be moving, and a filter in that it filters out everything that doesn't fit. You can say yes or no to the things that do fit, but you can say no automatically to all the things that don't fit. Life, your business, your company, your commander might all have ideas for your future and the things that you're doing and spending your time doing. But if you haven't spent as much time developing a family mission, vision, and core values as you have for your job or your business or your mission, then you haven't served your family well. The more solidified and well-defined your family mission and core values are, the more your family can buy into them and send you out to accomplish them. So, for example, when I leave in the mornings, I so often hear my kids say, "Go change the world, Dad." They've really bought into our family mission. They've bought into our family core values. They know that I'm leaving as an extension of them, as an extension of the family, to go implement our mission on the world and in the world. Once you have your mission, vision, and core values ready, now it's time to begin to think about weekly rhythms. Each location you arrive at is going to have different rhythms. Begin to take one or more of your family's core values and match it up to a day of the week. So each day can be focused on living out a specific core value, and each week moves you closer as a family to living out your core values and accomplishing your mission. And some of the greatest challenges or obstacles or friction that you'll face is going to come if you try to bring your old rhythms into a new location that has different rhythms than your old ones. If you try to bring your old systems into the new place and it doesn't fit, you'll be banging your head up against the wall, and it's just not going to be a lot of fun. nor will you get much of anywhere. Learning the new rhythms and new systems at the new location where you arrive is going to be very important. My wife likes to tell a story of going to a store in Vietnam just to find the lady behind the counter sleeping. She wouldn't budge or respond to any of my wife's promptings. It wasn't long before she realized that this was normal. The entire country shut down for a portion of each day. If you're trying to fight against the new country's systems and way of life, life's going to be challenging and difficult, and you probably won't last long. But on the other hand, if you're able to adapt to that new location's rhythms of life and systems, ways of life and living, you might find that things are easier. So now that you have your family mission, vision, and core values in place, you can begin to implement your core values into your weekly rhythms. Obviously, each of your situations and circumstances are going to be different. So I'm not prescribing a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. What I am saying is that you take time to figure out how you can build each of your core values into your weekly rhythms at the location where you're at. Once you're living out your core values, you will be accomplishing your mission, and you'll see your vision come to pass over time. And so it's simply a matter of continuing to implement those rhythms, modifying when needed. In fact, once a week, it's really great to set aside a time to go over the past week. What worked well? What did not work well? What needs to change? If your children are old enough, ask them for their thoughts. As each week becomes better than the previous week, it won't take too long for you to find that your family's flourishing and doing well. Now it's time for you to begin to see your family as your team. If your team is doing well, it means you'll be fulfilling your mission and living out your core values. So each day can be about the family partnering together to live out its core values and accomplish its mission. As you remember to give your family your best and take each day to further your family's purposes, mission, and core values, you'll find that your family will begin to thrive throughout every stage of its missionary journey. As you spend as much time and energy honing and crafting your family core values and mission as you do for work or ministry or anything else that you're doing in life, you will be setting your family up to thrive and flourish throughout each and every stage of their missionary journey. While each family is going to be very much unique, there are some similarities and core things that each family should have. Family time together is going to be of the utmost importance. Not just time, but quality time, where you get to spend time with each other, relate to each other, share with each other, be open and vulnerable and transparent with each other, have fun and enjoy each other. And if your family doesn't have enough time set apart just for family bonding, then that's something that probably should change. Another key distinction is that it's not about doing as much as it is about being. We're human beings. Who we are determines what we do. We'll naturally do things according to what we value and what our mission in life is. And so if you focus too much on the doing, you can miss the being. But if you focus on the being, you'll never miss out on the doing. As your family grows and expands, it's of the utmost importance that one of you is fully dedicated to the children. There's nobody who's going to love, cherish, adore, appreciate, or spend as much time and energy guiding and caring for your children as you. If you want your family to accomplish its mission, then it's of the utmost importance that your family is well taken care of. I really hope that you've enjoyed this series on TCKs. I hope that you've enjoyed learning what a TCK is, the benefits of being a TCK, the challenges of being a TCK, some of the helpful factors that help you move through the challenges to the benefits. I hope you've learned how to transition well and build your raft. I hope that you realize it's not so much about fulfilling your work role or your work mission as it is building and fulfilling your God-given family mission. And as you set about partnering with God to live out and fulfill your family's mission, my prayer is that God will bless it and cause you and your family to be fruitful.